Jumping into game number 2 between Flash and Team Evil. We're going to see who comes out on top of this one, whether Flash can get another one to their belt, or whether Evil will finally clock one in their favor.
We'll eventually start off with the emblems and understand what is going on here. We do have the Xbox as well as Terizla matchup that actually have very similar emblems. Not necessarily a problem for the side of Twist just yet, but he does want to go with a lot more of the survivability for his end. Understanding that Jay has got a lot of that true damage, he needs to find more ways to keep himself alive as long as he is hitting onto the opponents.
It's going to be a movement here early for Team Evil. They want to get this lead here. It's all about making sure that Hades does not get that power spike as fast as powerful. Now, we've already seen this Akai having a very good lead in game 1. Right? And they want to reenact that situation for Team Evil again here in the second game. And it looks like it's working out so far. Not a very huge gold lead, maybe about 300 to 400 gold. But it is still working in Evil's favor.
We're talking about lane priority for this game. We want to focus on that as much as possible. And there is actually a lot of jobs for Carrot to be, whereby he's gonna have to go to the middle lane, clear waves as fast as possible together with JS, and he's gonna have to be at the top lane to ensure that this Bruno is gonna be safe and sound all the time. As long as they have information as to where Lolzy is, things may not be as bad. But for now, the turtle is going to be popped up. As such, Evil gonna have to understand what is going to be their priority here. To keep Bruno alive, or do they want to ensure that the neutral objective is for theirs to take?
Well, Team Flash now, both teams actually going to buy time. They're not going to overcommit for this turtle. They're going to want to try to get 4 on as many of the members as possible. Lolzy
Starts that off with a throwback onto JS here. Damage is enough, but the
Nice
heavy spin
flicker for
stops them from engaging even more. Adamir comes in, tries to reach the backline, but not just yet. Flash now getting a bit more of the aggressive positioning here on the turtle, with Hades leashing it over to his side.
JS actually stole the last Insanity. I want to see when he's going to use that.
Yeah, Adamir early in the backline, actually already using that JS pop stat for himself. Adamir flickers out, but Twist chases him down in the backline. Lolzy 1 against 3 here, causing so much disruption and buying time. He goes down. It's actually 1-2 for none here in favor of Evil.
Yep, Team Flash just couldn't handle the split of the fight that Evil was able to do. That's why we know that Evil is the team fight team. Do not start a fight with Evil because they will always crush you.
Honestly, this is definitely going to be a game that is way better for the side of Coconut. Yes, you do have an answer from the side of Hades, but you do have a Rafaela this time. You have a lot of mobility that can really work out for you. The 1 second slow this 1 second slow immunity is going to be the answer for the Axe Bong. As such, it's not going to be too big of a problem. In fact, Jay will also pick up the Ice Queen's wand, so there's actually a lot of counters coming from the side of Evil. They are not afraid of any of their members slowing down. This allows Twist to be a lot more agile. It allows Powerful to even push people with the heavy spin so much easier.
Like this combination that Lolzy and Jay are trying to attempt with the onward into the Mystic Gush. Just curious as to why they don't throw the projectile down as well.
Now Flash starting to fight. Hades already getting there with the Retribution. Lolzy in the midst of 4 here is going to be taken down by JS's stolen last Insanity with the burst at the final part. So yes, Team Flash get the turtle, but Evil treat one back with a kill.
It may be 3 deaths from the side of Flash with not a single kill onto their side, but hey, at least they managed to pick up neutral objective on their side, and hopefully that they will be even able to get even more kills here. As Hades and Adamir make their way down to the bottom lane. Adamir doesn't really have a lot of Raga armor, but Powerful joins in the fray.
Tries to go in for Hades, but the iframe is just going to get him out right now. So all is well for the moment. And again, Hades, being able to keep up with the levels topside. Lolzy taking some damage. Coconut not able to put the final hits onto him to close that up.
It's quite interesting because JS actually taking the lead against Jay here. JS already has that completed Clock of Destiny. Jay not so much as close. So JS actually going for the scaling build on this Valentina, which means that we're expecting Evil to try and fight into the late game as well. They don't expect to finish this game fast, but of course with that being said, if they feed more farm into JS, as well as Coconut, it could be a very different story. We might see a very fast game from the side of Evo.
Or is it? Team Flash, they do have quite a bit of answers over to the side of Evil, despite the fact that Carrot himself, he can definitely nullify a lot of these slows from the side of Team Flash. Perhaps one of the answers is going to be dealing with a Carrot first. So the question is, do Hades actually deal with Carrot? Do they gotta have to deal with Carrot so that Jay will be able to melt them down with the true damage Mystic Gush? There's so many questions that needs to be answered, but it all relies onto the shot caller and of course understanding their roles. What can Adamir do for this case? Is it all about the last insanity zone carried away? Because we know once you pop off the Holy Baptism, you gotta have to run, right? Run away from the last insanity to make sure that you are not under heat.
Well, the most straightforward way to keep it in check is to make sure that this goal lead by Team Evo is never going past that 2,000 gold mark. Because one of the things that you don't want to experience as Team Flash is that you cannot decide between who to kill, between Coconut and Carrot.
They're both looking for the contest here now. Hades with the iframes might get it, but Powerful secures that one for himself. And now Twist goes in the backline penalty zone onto Jay, forces the flicker as well. JS with the last insanity doesn't get on Adamir and manages to escape for now.
Unfortunately, Grand Theft Turtle is not going to be working for them. In the meantime, top lane.
Oh, Coconut, one more hit onto Lawsy, but Vanix keeps him at bay here and he isn't able to send Lawsy back to the base.
Well, he does get into the Firelight, so he is going to be safe. Lawsy not exactly having the best game, 0-2-0, but he has managed to keep Vanix safe throughout this entire time.
Hades with the Thorn Rose, trying to attempt a gank here, but he knows that Powerful is on the way, and they're not going to be able to get anything out of here, so opting to instead strip some resources off of the jungle.
This is such a tight gold lane. Both of these gold laners have been pitting at each other at bay for the longest time ever. We've got Lawsy that constantly keeps himself at the top lane to ensure that Vanix would not lose. They understand that, after all, winning condition is still gonna be onto Vanix. They need him to pick up items. They need him to be unlocked and eventually join into the team fights. Generally, for the first two turtles, you wouldn't want to have your gold laners in unless they have got their power spikes. But in this case, I think for Team Flash, the third turtle is probably something that Irithel wants to be part of.
Powerful gonna get the steal here. They might look for the engage, which will be a huge mistake from Team Flash because right now Team Evo has everything up.
I just remembered. Both sides of the both teams actually took quite some time to bring down the turtles as such. Powerful picked up the Archive relatively early on, and Team Flash responded with a Lancelot. This means that we are looking at a neutral objective that would generally go over to the hands of Hades because of all of the immunity, all of the CC immunity and invulnerability that goes right past that heavy spin, which is why the Archive is picked up in the beginning to lock down onto the junglers on the opposite side to make sure that they get a very high chance of tilting that 50-50 to themselves. The Lancelot completely eliminates all of that. So what is going to be the next thing for Archive? What is that heavy spin going to be used for? It's ultimately going to be for the side of Jay. You understand that there is quite a lot of durability from the side of Evil, and he will be able to melt people down pretty darn easily. A single bump onto God ought to do the trick.
In maximum efficiency is if Hades makes the mistake of going into the position where he's inside of the Lord Pit, where Powerful can use the heavy spin to lock him down. But that's a very, very situational scenario, right? That I don't think will be very possible, but we'll see how it goes.
Right now, they are already starting on the Lord here. Flash with the advantage, slightly positioning, chunking down the Lord half its HP here. Poking out Evil as much as possible, but Lawsy flickers in, throws back JS, forces the flicker out as well. Adamir goes to the backline with the last insanity, doesn't quite catch him. JS follows suit, returns with the last insanity of his own, and Powerful nails that one for himself. It's one down on Flash, and that's a numbers advantage. Twist with the penalty zone in the backline. JS in trouble. Hades going right for him. It's going to be Lawsy that's put in a coffin for now. So Flash running away with their hind legs on. It's difficult right now. Hades, can he pull the steal? Finds Hades in the flash. Thorn Rose trying to use the iframes. One more hit, but this guy so slippery that he still gets away. That being said, Evo, huge win for them, and they get this first Lord.
Very beautiful play by Team Evo here. Waiting for that overcommitment by Adamir and pulling him away from the rest of the team. Very important that Adamir was not part of the fight at the same time because they couldn't buy space for Hades to jump in. Jay already used the Mystic Gust, so there was no other options. Vanix could not afford to step that far in along with Adamir, which meant that Adamir was going to be a lonesome ranger. So the straggler punished by Evo, and they made sure to separate Hades and Vanix, so there never was the option of choosing who to go for.
Mid lane already damaged, being put on Mystic Gush as well, trying to protect Aussie, but Coconut manages to land a blow and takes care of that. Adamir pops last insanity to get out of that. Evo sieges on to this mid lane, still standing. They have the Lord in their favor as well to continue pushing.
Honestly, after the previous fight for the Lord,
Hades! Hades with the Thorn Rose, Phantom Execution to escape out of that as well.
the Lord is eventually going to be pushing down to the bottom lane. But speaking of the Lord, based on the previous fight, it seems as though that Team Flash going to have to change their game plan a little bit here and there. They understand that they don't have to bait out that heavy spin at all because Hades will be able to deal with the neutral objective pretty darn easily. As long as, if Powerful actually finds value on top of the heavy spin, not only to, well, push Jay away or just to lock down someone, it is going to be very difficult for Flash to play things out. As such, pickoffs is ultimately going to be important. And that pickoff is going to be in the hands of Loyalty. Do they have the damage to deal with the pickoffs? That is the question. I think that they have to expand out Jay's Mystic Gush really early in tandem with Loyalty's pickoff. That way, they will be able to find that one-man advantage on top of Evil to take out fights a lot easier. This is not exactly a game of zoning. Adamir can do all the zoning that he needs in order to peel for the team, but ultimately, it is not to force Powerful with the heavy spin, because Hades can deal with the 50-50 game.
Yeah, right now Evo in a very strong position. Not only having a 6,000 goal lead, is the fact that Coconut now is extremely farmed. And what was once the win condition for Hades to jump in the backlines and get the kill on Coconut and Carrot, that would have been a simple win condition. It has now turned into Coconut is the one with the potential to hunt Hades down.
And the thing is, you find 3 members of Evil together as well on the backline, right? Yes, you might find Coconut, but along with that, you might get a 3-for-1. JS as well and Carrot putting out enough burst and damage to take Hades down, even with his iframes, and force him to back away. So tough job now, tall order for Hades to be able to pull the same stunt that he had in the last game. What does Flash need to be looking at?
Well, for Flash, they're gonna have to wait until the later stages of the game. They do have an Irithel that actually scales pretty well into the later stages as compared to a Bruno, but that doesn't mean that Bruno is not useful in the later stages. As long as Evil still finds opportunities on top of Team Flash, they're gonna be A-okay. It could go down to a 50-50, but this is ultimately gonna be that kind of game plan. For the side of the junglers and contesting for neutral objective, the Archive versus a Lancelot is not a problem for Team Flash at all. Just whiz past that heavy spin. They just need to make sure that they save Jay. They need to get the pick off. They need to find that one person to kill. But who is going to be that one person that you gotta have to kill? Well, it ultimately could be a Terizla. If they can find information on Terizla, that means that Vanix will be having a free roam capabilities and no one will be able to deal with him. Carrot do have the kind of Holy Baptism to actually enable them with great movement speed, but that is literally going to be the power of an Irithel. You have the mobility to actually deal with the movement speed from the side of Carrot, so the only one that's stopping Vanix is going to be Twist.
I have to agree with you. I think Jay needs to play a bigger role in this fight. Now, I love myself a good God. I love playing God as well. And I think one of the things that he can actually do is to use that Mystic Projectile to get on the backlines. He will be the one that should be responsible for killing Coconut and Carrot because he, with the Mystic Projectile, will be able to reach him on the backlines.
I guess the difficulty also is if Jay pushes a little bit forward, potential for him to get caught out, and he wouldn't want that as well. No kind of peel that is available to him to escape out of that. So Flash, a bit on a back foot here as they are in their jungle. Hades stunned out in the back, takes a lot of damage, and now backline Lalzi is forced to flicker out too. So they've spent a lot here getting away from Evil, and they take the Lord just like that.
I mean, that's the issue, right? Yes, you want Jay to be a little bit more forward, but it's a huge risk. But I think at this point of the game, it is a risk that is necessary because the moment you take out Coconut and Carrot, there isn't actually that much damage coming out from Team Evo anymore.
This is unfortunate for the side of Team Flash, right? They understood their game plan and they executed that. Not exactly to the T, but they did try to execute that, popping the Mystic Gush pretty early on. But unfortunately, we are talking about quite a bit of deficit for Team Flash after all. They don't have enough items and they do not have the damage to really do that.
Oh my goodness, penalty zone used by Twist in the backline. They're trying to siege this mid lane here. Twist pops the immortality. Mystic got stuns him out as well. And Evil, they are trying to siege this, but just not yet. They need the second wave of creeps to be able to take this mid lane down. All this time, Hades has also been split pushing, so Evil is forced to respond to that.
Still a win. Yep, still a big win for Evo. Even though they lost a majority of the turrets on that top lane, they got the tier 3 in the mid, which is going to be a huge advantage in the next control of the map.
Remember, time is of the essence, and we are looking at a Lancelot for the side of Hades after all. As long as us members from the side of Flash is able to hold things on for a longer and extended period of time, even if we are looking at a 7,000 gold deficit from Flash, they can still turn this fight around. All of it based on this utility from the side of Lancelot, and that is the ability to go past the heavy spin and snag the Lord. The Grand Theft Lord is going to be the name of the game for the side of Team Flash. It's essentially going to be their identity. This guy, he can just go around and steal all of this. And at that point in time is where the fight and the game will turn around. Evil's main game for the later stages, whenever the neutral objective is out, is not to be complacent. The moment they let their guard down even once is where Hades will spring into action.
Yep, and you know, with the Lord fights itself, Evo can be very, very patient with it because they can actually switch up gears and take the Lord extremely fast. With the Wind Talker being bought by Coconut now, that's an extra 40% attack speed on this Bruno, and that's going to be a huge amount of damage onto Team Flash if they choose to engage as well.
We are, of course, looking at quite a lot of counters on the side of Evil. Powerful. He has a very good idea how he wants to play things. As such, they absolutely win by the drafts. But when it comes down to the game itself and the macro game, that is all up to them. Remember, the Carrot picking up the Rafaela was at the final second. And with a single Rafaela pick, that kind of sustainability eventually evolves Coconut. He is able to get himself away from the likes of the Last Insanity from the side of Adamir. He can run away from Hades, and there's so much things that eventually help them out. He can even put Coconut in the pretty good pacing against Phoenix. And it also, let's not forget about that. Adamir and Jade with picking up the Ice Queen's wand, it can help to dispel that too.
Starting the fight here at the Lord. Carrot taking some damage here. Flash, Hades looking to clear out the minions as well. They're just only joining this fight, coming back from the base now. Powerful, reaching it to his side. We'll see if Hades can manage to pull off another Grand Theft Lord here. This is gonna be really crucial for Flash. If they manage to do that, they have a chance because right now their structures are heavily at risk from Evil as well.
Oh, JS.
The pullback. JS forced the flicker. Powerful going in. Forces the Last Insanity as well. Jay being threatened in the back line by Twist. Hades goes down, and that's a free Lord secured by Team Evil, and Flash on their back legs having to retreat.
That was a beautiful play by Twist, forcing himself into the face of the backline, making sure that Jay had to overcommit that Mystic Gush as well, saving Team Evo from the brunt of damage that Flash actually could deal. And not only that, with the death of Hades, what a kill by JS, going for the jungler instead.
I gotta have to say, whatever the Team Flash was trying to do, it didn't work out at all. We understand that they have they can hold on to the Lord, but hold on a second as we see Adamir in the pinch.
Yep, right in the back line again, popping at Last Insanity, but he gets stunned out. The damage is enough to pop his immortality as well. Will he last out? Last Insanity again being used. The Lord goes down. Flash on the back legs trying to defend this here, but the creeps have gone. The Lord is gone. They need to wait for this other wave, but Hades in the back line takes JS out with that lethal ignition, manages to seal the deal here. Creeps going in, but Evil now has to back away and try again for a second time.
Yeah, this is the start of a potential comeback from Team Flash. As we go into another pause, right now, I think great Great job by Evo. They have taken 2 turrets, 2 tier 3s on the top and
The onward. We are back into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Like you said, Kin, there is a chance for Flash to come back into this. And not just with the addition of the Genius Wand, right? It can also cause Evo a hard time when they try to break into this high ground here because their ability to clear out the creeps and the minions is really strong. Going with the glowing wand here.
What exactly is this? Team Flash claiming the lands again, even though they are at a 7,000 gold deficit? Well, remember this. This is a 21 minutes game, and we are looking at a total of 53,000 gold onto their side. So, even if we're looking at the amount of gold deficit, it is fair to say that one of the couple of these main players, the main players such as the God or perhaps the Lancelot and Irithel, they're close to maxing out their items. What's left is only for Jay to pick up all the items because he just completed his glowing wand and he just needs one more item to eventually be at his top game.
Yep, that's going to be 1.5% of HP damage every time he lands any of his skills on the members on the side of Evo. So that's why I feel, Team Flash, they have this potential comeback. But based on how Evo has been playing this game so far, as long as Evo get their way in terms of splitting Team Flash during the fights itself, it's always going to be a Team Evo team fight win.
And they have done that to a lot of success, right? In Twist, going in the backline as well, forcing Vanix and Jade to split apart from the main roster of Team Flash. Now that they've done it a couple times though, I think Flash, that would be something that they are going to expect. And I'm curious to see how they plan to turn that around or even prevent or avoid that from happening again.
Well, the big question here is, are we going to see the thievery by Hades once again? Game 1, we got a couple of steals. Game 2, we haven't seen as much of a stealing capability coming out from Hades.
But don't worry. At one point in time, that will definitely happen. With the Lord currently at the northern area of the map, Team Flash have managed to get themselves quite a bit of lane priority in the middle and as well as the bottom lane. And thus, you understand that once you see a Bruno in the bottom lane, you know that the Rafaela must be around because he needs the mobility in order to go around.
They're going for it. Mystic Gush didn't quite cut the mark there, but the back line, the Holy Baptism catches two, and now Powerful trying to catch on to them. It's going to be Twist popping the Immortality. Lawsy having to back out as well. First casualty in this fight going to be Lawsy, so they back away with a numbers disadvantage.
And that's the beauty of Team Evo's team fight, right? You can hear the fans cheering every time Team Evo fights because they know a win is coming. And with a dub for that fight itself, Evo now in prime position to make it difficult for Team Flash to even contest this Lord attempt. Hades.
They find him in the brush here, forced to back out. They don't even let him try to steal this Lord or come close to it. And right now, it's gonna be Flash finding a way, trying to find a way into this Lord pit.
Lord priority is actually going over to the side of Evil, and Evil has spread themselves wide and far enough to ensure that this Lancelot will not come in from anywhere. But this is actually a good thing coming from the side of Team Flash because Adamir has managed to pull most of the members from the side of Evil away. This actually gives Hades a little bit of a leeway to get himself into place. But unfortunately, that's how far that they can pull him apart. And there is no Grand Theft Lord that can be done for this fourth Lord.
They are protecting this so well.
Yeah, can I just say, Evo, it feels like all of the different members are like security cameras, right? Where is Hades? Where is Hades?
They are an escort.
No, I was gonna say, you know that game that you play as a child, the chicken one, when you have that mother chicken in front protecting everyone? Yeah.
Which is eagle catch little chicks.
Yeah. And it felt like that, right? You go up top. Yes, Adamir tried to, hold on here. JS in some trouble. They're finding Hades on the bottom lane. Don't quite engage yet. The Lord is coming down the mid though.
Team Evil knows that they don't have to deal with this Lancelot, or else he's just buying so much time. He's just waiting. He was just T-posing to them.
Yeah, he did back away in the end. Now they're trying to clear out this Lord again with the high ground. Flash clears out that Lord really quickly. So Evil just is difficult finding an entry point here into this base.
Yep, that's the strength of Team Flash's draft. They actually have a good, decent wave clear as well. Specifically because there is a gold.
You've been very good wave clear.
Oh, but the creeps, the penalty zone by Twist catches 3 in the backline. And now it's Evil pulling the trigger onto the base. They close that one out finally. After There's so much effort.
And this is a different Team Evo, a slightly stronger Evo than Game 1. And this